Ciara.
I'm Caitlyn.
And I'm Mikkena.
We picked Half Brother by Kenneth Opel.
For our reading triangle circle.
And our goal was to get to page 60 by today, and we picked this book out on Wednesday.
I made my goal, page 60.
42.
And I went to page 41. So I'm just going to get right into the book and tell you what's happened so far in chapter 1. So a 13-year-old boy named Ben, him and his family moved from across country from Toronto to Victoria, which I think we're all going to have a connection with this book because, I mean, we all live in Victoria, and there's going to be a lot of questions about, like, it because, Anyway, so his dad is a psychologist who wants to learn about monkeys, and when they drove across country, they didn't take a plane or anything. They actually drove in a crappy car, apparently, his words. And his mom was in New Mexico getting the baby.
Which I find very interesting because it's on his birthday and she comes back on his birthday with the monkeys, so it's like his birthday present.
Yeah, and he's turning 13, so I felt a connection because I recently turned 13. And I also drove from Toronto to Vancouver last summer in a pretty crappy car, too.
Oh, and also since they drove because the dad wanted him to see all the scenery in Canada, which I drove before, so it could be a connection there.
Yeah, and what else does it say here?
His dad...
No, go ahead.
His dad works at UVic, too, so I bet we've all been to
Yeah, and in the chapter 1, it didn't say that he worked at UVic till, like, a certain point, so that was a question I had, wondering, like, where he worked, because it's just so weird. This book just happens to be...
Yeah, and he, like, lives on, like, West Saanich Road.
Yeah, I live so close there. Anyways, so it also says in here, Ben's words, I really liked being with him the first couple of days. He'd already been to Victoria for the job interview, and he told me about how beautiful it was. Mountains and sea practically everywhere you look, which is very true for Victoria. And in my opinion, I don't think the climate in Victoria was the best in Canada, but that's just me, as he says it here. I think Victoria does not have good weather, because like it doesn't snow or anything. It doesn't get that hot.
It actually gets pretty hot. It's like 18 degrees usually.
Yeah. But like the part when his mom comes home with the baby chimpanzee, and just before the cab comes in, like with his mom in it, his like moving truck comes in, and like I've seen a lot of moving trucks in my life, and like it's really like the thrill of having like a truck full of food. I just got my stuff back like 5 days ago from Ontario, so it's pretty exciting. So feels good.
Yeah, and basically, like, I don't know, a third of the chapter 1 just basically tells us about like their days traveling across the country. I think how long did it take? 6 days?
I think something like that. It took me a lot longer than that.
Okay.
And they like said no, but in the book.
Yeah.
And they like stayed in motels and stuff.
And drank milkshakes.
Yeah. And then it says here on day 6 we got to Vancouver and took the ferry across to Victoria. Our house it turned out wasn't actually in the city itself. It was on the outskirts in the country because we didn't want neighbors. So I live very close to West Saanich Road where they live. I live in Saanich. I live close, yeah.
Yeah, and on page 7, it was actually pretty cool because like he went to go buy something from the vending machine. I think it was on a ferry, and
No, it was in the hotel.
Oh, in the hotel, and like because it wouldn't come out, and he paid for it. So then he shook it, and it almost fell on him. But then this really musty guy like came and like saved him, and then he was like, these things crush you, you know. Said the guy. Happened to a cousin of mine in Red Deer, and I've been to Red Deer.
Oh, and also Ben was extremely mad because his dad got whatever he wanted and he couldn't get not even a single Mars.
Yeah, I was after reading through here to like page 40, I noticed how his dad seemed sort of like a bit odd. I mean, like he seemed sort of strict and like.
But it seemed like he like cared about him. Like,
yeah. Should we move on?
Chapter 2?
Or to page 10? So here in page like 10 and 11, it shows how his mom shows up, as you guys were saying, and like with the baby chimpanzee. And if my mom showed up with the chimpanzee, I'd be so excited. I mean, I've always wanted a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool. but it's sort of weird. I mean, but if his dad's a psychologist and learning about that stuff, I think it's pretty random.
I think it would be cool if you could like actually like talk in ALS, like American Sign Language.
and teaching. They're gonna teach the chimpanzee sign language, which would be really hard.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a cool thing that
what I find cool is on like page 9 or 8, 8 or 9, I mean, he was hoping that his stuff would come on his birthday, and it did.
Yeah, it did. It showed up.
And about like the climate, he said, in Victoria, there always seemed to be a breeze. In the mornings and evenings, the air cooled down so you didn't get hot or thirsty. And I remember my mom saying that when we moved here from Toronto, or to Vancouver, it was a lot cooler breeze and stuff.
Definitely.
From the ocean.
Yeah. And it also says here, Mom was just 21 when she had me. And my mom had my 16-year-old sister when she was 21, so that's like, I don't know, sort of a connection.
Yeah, it is. Also, like, I kind of felt that Ben was like a little jealous because the chimpanzee got more attention. Yeah. And my sister probably felt that, like when I was born after her. Yeah. She probably, I think she did.
My sister felt that when my brother was born. She's like, I want to push 2 dogs at the swing.
Yeah.
She said that.
Yeah.
Okay, so. So how about let's go on chapter 2?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So when do you guys want to start?
So chapter 2 is called Freaky Little Brother, and it's a couple weeks after they got the chimp, and it's like explaining what life is like with the chimp. So it's like Zan. It says Zan mostly slept.
Zan is the
monkey's name. And every time the dad would hold the monkey, it would cry.
Yeah.
And the mom would just say that it either peed itself or it's tired.
And I had a question. I was like, okay, well, why do they dress the chimpanzee? But then later on it answers, it says, well, if they're going to teach him sign language, it has to be like an actual human, right? Yeah. Like dressing and
But I mean, that would look weird, because they're all like, their skin hasn't like formed yet.
Yeah.
So.
But it's the closest relative we have, right?
And it also says that he rode his bike a lot, like, not Zan, Ben. He rode his bike a lot, and he would see kids around, like, a construction site at, like, 12 o'clock at night playing with it, and he wanted to go talk to them, but he was his curfew, so he couldn't go out.
Yeah, and it also says he would, he says in his words, a few days ago, Mom had let me call up Will and Blake on the phone. Those are his friends from Ontario. Yeah. And I remember when my best friends moved to Ontario, and we used to talk on the phone, and it was really awkward, which he said there was sometimes like little periods where there was nothing to say, which I connect with that.
And also, Ben got mad because his dad wanted him to be part of Zan learning sign language, and he thought it was like it's not his project, so he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. And he met this friend, came over to his house and knocked on his door and was like, hi, are you Ben? And he's like, because he saw him like riding around, and he was like, and I thought, because I saw the page and it said you play soccer.
Oh yeah.
And because the friend's name is Tim, and he came over and he was like, hey, are you Ben? And then he was like, you play soccer? I was like, oh, you play soccer?
Yeah, and it says he plays for a local rep team, but it doesn't say what team he plays for, which I'm very curious to know about. Yeah. And also, he went to Tim's house.
Yeah, and they went in one of the freezer things, kind of, but it wasn't a freezer. It was just
like it
looked like a freezer. It wasn't on. Yeah. And there was pictures of naked ladies.
It says here. Okay, so he took me through a doorway into the unfinished parts of the basement. There were a couple of bashed up deep freezers, only which one of them was humming. Tim went to the quiet one and hefted up the lid. A musty smell of paper wafted out, and I looked down at the pile of magazines with naked women on the covers. So I wrote a statement here saying that was gross, because
I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't expecting that at all either.
I thought he would like pick up like freezies from the freezer.
Yeah, I was expecting it.
Like
and I think Ben was sort of like, what's happening?
Excited. He sounds excited.
But he was like, wow. And he's like, wow, I said, swallowing and looking over at Tim. Even he looked kind of awestruck, gazing at them like the contents of a treasure chest.
It says, wait, where does it say this thing? the sheer number of the sun heat in my cheeks traveled all the way down to my legs, between my legs.
Oh my gosh.
And
I
only
just got that.
Oh my gosh, you just got that?
I didn't say between. I didn't think it said between. Oh, okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And then later on, he says, after only knowing Ben, what, like 2-3 hours maybe, it says, hold on, sorry. Oh, they went outside and shot
Yeah.
BB guns at cups and stuff, and Ben was going to set up the cups or something like that, and then Tim shot Ben
him
with
in,
the BB gun
I think
in
it was
the
in
leg.
like the butt or the
Or, yeah, something like that.
thigh or
And
something.
he's like,
And I think he felt kind of like,
yeah, like what is happening?
yeah, like why'd you do that?
Yeah, he's like,
He grabbed.
I swore and gripped my bum and looked around. Tim was laughing and he was holding the gun. Geez, I said that hurt. So yeah.
I think that was kind of rude, but
Yeah.
I
After
feel
only knowing
like
the day.
Tim is sorta like
Like a
me, but a boy
rough
because, well, not like rough, but like he says he loves soccer. He has a brother that's 2 years older than him, but I have a sister that's like almost 2 years older than me. So it was kind of
Yeah.
Then
But you don't have gross
when
magazines.
no, not in my
when Ben came home, he walked in on his mom breastfeeding Zan, which he felt was completely weird.
Yeah,
and,
because she
not
couldn't
unnecessary.
produce milk unless she had
Unless
a baby.
it's actually her child,
Yeah.
which clearly
So
is not.
I don't really know why she let Zan do that though.
And yeah, I think that's sort of weird. And then later on, then
Ben.
she said to Ben, I can't produce milk unless it's my kid. So as
Yeah,
you
so
said, it
why?
confused me. Like, why would you do that? It would.
And then
Yeah, it would hurt.
and like the next page, it's like them teaching Zan the signs for father, mother, and then
And I think
there
he
was no
gets them.
sign for brother. Well, there was, but it was extremely hard. So Ben made a sign for Zan, which
That was just a V, I think, like over his chest. Or something.
Yeah, I think it's smart though drawing it.
Yeah.
Like yeah, but I think like to me, if you like wrote something in the air, drew it on me, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I guess chimps are kind of like
They're smart.
really smart.
They're really smart. Yeah.
So
and then me.
And here it also says I wrote saying why would someone was I think sorry I forget. It says why would he pretend to eat Zan's?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh yes, I think the dad, it was either the dad or the mom was playing with Zan, and or no, maybe it was Ben.
Oh no, it was the mom was holding it, and then the or I don't know if this is what you're trying to say, but
With the hair.
yeah.
Yeah, he
We have
pretend
a
to
weird
eat
time.
some. We pretend to eat something in Zan's hair, which confuses
Yeah.
me. But yeah, so far that's what's happened in like the past.
Wait, yeah, but there's one more thing, or maybe that's in this chapter. Yeah. Anyway, so Ben's father works with this guy who is like really fancy and like has like a really big house and stuff. And he had like a wooden sign surrounded by flower beds. And it was in Windermere, which is like the uplands of